Danger zones before horror weather returns. Plus the Navy to the rescue inside the operation to get 1,000 people out of Malakuta. Temperatures in the 40s and strong winds ahead. Jane Bunn will have the latest forecast for the areas most at risk. Also, health warnings as bushfire smoke blankets Melbourne. A young girl killed in a freak holiday tragedy. And a troubled pier to be demolished with hundreds of jobs in doubt for months, now gone for good.
Live from our Melbourne headquarters, this is 7 News with Mike Amor.
Good evening. Thousands of people have abandoned their holidays and their homes as Victoria enters what could be the most dangerous 24 hours of the bushfire crisis. Victoria's first ever state of disaster has been declared, with 2 people now confirmed dead and at least 28 unaccounted for. Tonight, 49 fires are still burning. Most are out of control and dozens of communities are at risk. There are several evacuation orders in place ahead of scorching temperatures in the 40s tomorrow and a dangerous wind change tomorrow night. And as we go to air, HMAS Choules is about to leave Malakuta with more than 1,000 evacuees on board. The Navy getting them out of the danger zone in a situation unlike anything we've seen in recent memory. Blake Johnson is in the popular tourist town of Bright in Victoria's northeast tonight. And Blake, it seems people there have taken notice of the warnings to get out while they can.
Mike, automated text messages went out yesterday warning anyone near Bright to leave, and today the town is almost empty. Usually you'd struggle to get a car park on the main street here, but instead of a summer vibe, it's more like a movie set from which all the actors have gone home for the day. Almost everyone has gone, and the forecast here is very grim. A mass evacuation on a scale Victoria has never seen.
We face unprecedented risk to life and property in coming days.
Much of the north and east of the state will be under siege this weekend. Areas popular with tourists from the Alpine region out to East Gippsland will be in the line of fire.
If you can get out, you must get out now.
The number of people unaccounted for in the Victoria fires is rising. Yesterday, 17. Today, 28.
These numbers will move around. That's the nature of a very dynamic fire ground. But I can confirm today, as at 9:30, there are 28 people that we cannot locate.
There are 2 confirmed victims. Mick Roberts, who's 67, died inside his Buchan home. A second man, Fred Becker, died on his front lawn after staying behind to protect his home near Genoa in far east Gippsland. Authorities fear more people will die this weekend, so at 11 last night the Premier called a snap news conference.
Under the provisions of the Emergency Management Act, I have declared a state of disaster.
A state of disaster gives the state government power to keep Victorians safe by making use of anyone's property, controlling movement in and out of the disaster zone, and compelling the evacuation of people from the fire area.
Are we going to be arresting people who don't leave? No, we're not. There would be too many of those.
Our commitment is to supporting communities to evacuate. We will not be making wholesale arrests for those that choose to stay.
This is the potential impact zone, 35,000 square kilometres, stretching from Malakuta in the east to Lakes Entrance, Omeo, Bright and Myrtleford, an area bigger than Belgium.
If you can leave, you must leave. We cannot guarantee your safety.
The town of Bright in the Alpine region is usually packed with more than 15,000 visitors at this time of year. Everyone has left.
Today's like a ghost town. There's no one. I'm like, yeah, let's just go.
It's eerily quiet. All but the supermarket and the pub are closed. Most people took the advice seriously.
There is this window of opportunity that we're in right now where we're trying to maximise. There'll be a lot of traffic on the road. People need to exercise patience.
Julia Wilson runs the only cafe open today.
All the tourists actually left yesterday, so they heeded the warning, and that's great because now we're empty.
The concern here is that 2 fires burning south of Bright could merge when a wind change comes in overnight and tomorrow. The forecast here, 43 degrees tomorrow. The town's also in a valley, so natural conditions are combining to make it what's going to be a very dangerous 36 hours in Bright. Mike?
We wish them well. Blake, thank you. More than 1,000 people have been evacuated from Malakuta in a Defence Force mercy mission. Cassie Zervos is there, and Cassie, they're on their way to safety.
They were ferried to 2 Defence Force ships anchored just offshore. Tonight, they'll be on their way to Hastings, thankful to be leaving Malakuta. This isn't how they thought their Christmas holiday would end.
Glad to go home.
Taking only what they can carry.
It's been absolutely terrifying when the fires happened, but so far to get out of here is great.
Holiday memories this year they want to leave behind.
We're all down at the foreshore and it's something that I want to forget. Yeah.
With roads cut, the only way out is by sea or air.
There's also fires burning between here and Melbourne and between here and Eden, so you can't really get out anyway.
The threat of another fire simply too great.
I actually have held it together pretty well till yesterday when I heard that it could be coming back, and that's when I had my breakdown and I felt better after it, and now we're here and we're getting on the boat and we're going home and we're seeing our families.
Fear replaced with gratitude.
We owe our lives to all these people that are here.
Look, we're really grateful to be able to help out, essentially help a mate that's in need. It's what we exist for. Challenging and really severe circumstances out here, but it's quite uplifting to be involved, to be able to make such a difference.
The Malakuta 1000 loaded onto the landing barges.
We're 35. Yeah, plenty of dogs.
And finally heading out of hell. A very different boat ride for this couple from Europe.
It's a beautiful place and I hope it will recover.
It was a short ride from the shore to the chuls waiting to receive them. A surreal experience as the landing barges entered the very belly of the ship. Scenes straight from a war movie. One by one, the crew helped the evacuees on board. Room for all, every man and his dog.
We train for these situations. It's pretty rare that we do it for real. So it's a sense of pride that we're able to actually put what we've trained for into place.
This isn't how they wanted to head home, but it's far better than the horror conditions they endured earlier in the week. It's tight. There's only space for 700 people on board, but however difficult this 20-hour journey will be, it's far better than the horror conditions they're about to leave behind. In the galley, lunch was waiting.
Come on through, ladies and gents. This is where we're going to get a feed today. Come on through.
The first proper meal for days and the first smiles in just as long.
It's amazing.
For one passenger, the voyage providing door-to-door service.
So we're actually docking. It's about a 10-minute drive from my house, so I'm pretty happy.
As the crew plotted the course home,
this is where all these other ships are.
Relief and exhaustion set in. It may not be luxury, but it's safe. Well, as you can see, Mike, the Chuls is still here, but it's set to leave any minute now. The second Navy ship has already left and is due to arrive at Western Port at around 12 a.m. this morning. Another 50 survivors have been airlifted out by Black Hawks earlier today. But for those who did stay in town, it's now an anxious wait to see what tomorrow will bring. The temperature is set to reach over 40 degrees. So as the tension is rising, as is the temperature. Mike.
Cassie, thank you. A huge area of Gippsland is being evacuated ahead of tomorrow's Danger Day. Lake's entrance was locked down 6 hours ago. Tom Chadwick is in the town, and Tom, it's a worrying time there tonight.
Well, Mike, normally Lake's entrance is packed with holidaymakers. Now most have left town along with thousands of residents. Right across the region, they are preparing for the worst. Others are still counting the cost after losing just about everything.
Lynn Warwork found out her house was destroyed when she saw it on the news.
There's nothing there. It's all gone.
She refuses to let it defeat her.
It's done and we just go take things as it comes. That's all you can do.
Her family here to support her and her husband.
They've lost everything. They walked out or ran out with what they were wearing.
She hasn't been back. Her son-in-law has and can't believe it.
A disaster zone. Looks like a war zone, pretty much. Every house that has been burnt's been burnt to the ground.
Now there's a mass evacuation for a massive emergency. Army trucks joining the thousands who've taken to the road.
We don't want to see any more communities cut off. We don't want to see any more communities that are locked in by fire. That's why it's so important for your safety, the safety of your family and the safety of others. If you can leave, you must leave.
Everybody's freaking out big time.
Through the thick smoke and haze, thousands of East Gippsland residents are fleeing. They're leaving with their most precious possessions.
He's very anxious. He's a very anxious traveller.
What's vital becoming crystal clear.
My life is more important than my house.
Tim and his partner have decided to stay, stocking up on food and water.
If it gets too late, then it's too late and we'll bunker down here in town.
For Wade and Alana Jones and their 3 children, the water may be the only way out.
If it does go seriously bad, I'll chuck the family in the boat and we'll go.
With a young family, the uncertainty makes it worse.
You don't really know, exactly what's happening or where it is or how far away it is.
Now tonight, Lakes Entrance does remain in lockdown, but there has been a small reprieve for those who have stayed. A wind change has cleared a lot of that choking smoke. Still, the big worry is what tomorrow will bring. Mike?
Absolutely, Tom. Thank you. It's a similar situation in the north of the state where temperatures are set to soar tomorrow. It's forecast to hit 46 degrees in Albury-Wodonga. Georgia Comensoli is in Tallangatta, where a relief centre is set up for those who have fled the Alpine region.
Mike, the relief centre has been helping locals flee for the past week. Today we saw dozens of buses and paramedics help evacuate the elderly. We also saw dozens of families either dropping off donations or passing through to larger rural towns. It seems the message was loud and clear to evacuate the Alpine region, and everybody is taking it seriously. The holiday's over for thousands of tourists in the Alpine region. They've swapped campsites and B&Bs for relief centres in safer towns like Wangaratta, Wodonga and Tallangatta.
The big worry is tomorrow, if we get anything further down, God only knows where it'll come through.
I could be ready in 20 minutes if I had to. Yeah, I know exactly what I'm taking.
Temperatures will be in the 40s here tomorrow. The wind will create frightening fire conditions.
Tonight it's going to be hot and dry. We won't get the normal moisture that we would see in overnight conditions.
A scary time for locals.
I'm hoping I'll go home and the fire's not been anywhere near us or anybody else. I don't want anybody, any neighbours. And I don't want any more people I know to have suffered.
Fire has already devastated Corryong and Cudgewa. A much bigger area could come under threat this weekend. From Tallangatta to Bright, the Murray Valley Highway was opened today to allow people to evacuate the area. 2 massive fires in the area could link in coming days. Communication is already so bad, fire crews are going door to door, making sure people know they have to leave. About 15 homes were lost in Cudgewa. The tiny community basically left with nothing but the pub and footy club.
It's a bit scary. My love goes out to all the firefighters. They're doing such an amazing job. It's amazing.
The deadline to leave was midday. It seems almost everyone listened.
A lot of the people are taking the advice to leave and just let the fireys and the emergency services do what they do best.
A difficult time ahead for small business owners who rely on tourism at this time of year, hoping the visitors will be back soon.
I think a lot of them plan to come back. A lot of them are booked in for 7 days. So they're hoping maybe Sunday, Monday, they're all planning to come back. And most of them will. Hopefully.
Choking smoke has drifted down from the fire zone and into Melbourne. Very poor air quality was reported in the CBD. It was also hazardous in Bayside suburbs and parts of the west. Melina Saris has spoken with the EPA, and Melina, they've issued an important warning.
Yes, they have, Mike. It is especially dangerous in suburbs like Footscray and Brighton, where the air quality rating is hazardous. That means people without a pre-existing medical condition could still experience symptoms like coughing and shortness of breath. Easterly winds pushed that thick smoke across Melbourne and Geelong throughout the day, significantly reducing visibility. The EPA says people should avoid going outside, and if they are struggling, they need to relocate.
So when you're breathing in air pollutants, whether it's from the back of a car or a cigarette or a bushfire, the pollution is the same and it has effects on your health. And particularly when it's sustained over a long period of time.
The smoke is expected to ease in Melbourne and Geelong tomorrow, but hazardous conditions will continue for those communities in the northeast and in Gippsland.